Wow, ladies and gentlemen, check out the banking and the racing surface here at US36 Raceway in Osborn, Missouri. What a track. Walking up here and getting my first look. Tight bull ring with a ton of banking, but super wide. That's kind of my first impression of the place. You know, watched a lot of video from this track and how it races, and man, it's pretty gnarly. You know, it's fast, it can get real slick, can get right up by the fence, but like you can run kind of anywhere. You know, you see guys make the middle work, you see guys roll the bottom, you know, really slowly, and then you see guys just send it all the way on the edge. Now, where I come from on the West Coast, they would call a place like this cowboy up. Get up on the wheel, get on the gas, and make it happen. And I think that's exactly how it's going to be tonight. You know, really fast lap times, probably in the 10-second bracket, and it's going to be a heck of a show. We're running tonight with the extreme midgets, so we're going to have midgets, 410 sprint cars. I think we're going to have a lot of both divisions. There's still not a lot going on in the United States, and where there was some other races planned, some got rained out, and so guys are, you know, if you want to race, you got to be right here with the greatest show on dirt. So it's going to be you know, a tough field of cars, and we're going to have to bring our A game to be up front and make it happen, but confident and ready to get the 18T out on track. First laps around US36 are now complete. We're ripping around this place. That's no joke. Kind of an okay start to the night. We have 40 cars, so we have split qualifying, and we ended up 11th in Flight B. Our time's not bad, our speed's not bad. We hot lapped well. Just like, you know, I hate simple mistakes. I don't know. When they pushed me off to start qualifying, I was ready to go, and I don't know if I just like had a brain fart or something. I guess that I didn't. I don't know, they started pushing me and I forgot to turn the fuel on. So it took me a second to fire, which luckily I still got my warm-up lap and I still got my 2 laps, but I didn't know that. Long story short, I didn't know if they were gonna count my first lap as basically the one that was not at speed, so it would have been a junk lap anyway. Long story short, that threw off my rhythm there for a second. I actually didn't run 2 bad laps. They just needed to be that much better. I got through 1 and 2 well. I just didn't capitalize in 3 and 4. I got kind of up on entry, but on the second lap where I think I would have been in the 10-second bracket and not in the 11s, I got kind of turned in a little too much, and then I kind of floated off and I had to lift to not hit the wall. The front stretch wall really pops out at this place, and you can see how it could eat guys up. So now we're heading into a heat race. We're going to be starting, I think, 6th. So they're going to take the top 5. Not the greatest start to our night. We would hope to be in those first 2 rows kind of to give ourselves a little bit better chance, but I think this place hopefully will at least be racy, and if we can, you know, get a good start and make some adjustments to our car, we'll have a shot to sneak into tonight's show. good enough heat race there for us to start 6th and finish 5th and lock directly into tonight's main event. I knew with where we qualified, just getting into today's show would be a win, because if you have to go through the B, that's going to be tough. There's so many good cars that they kind of trickle down into that, and if I could get through that heat race, it was going to help us a lot. Luckily, I got a decent start. Didn't run the most perfect first lap, but got myself in a good position where I was able to sneak under Gio, get by him into 1 and 2, and then actually I felt like held a good enough pace to be right behind 4th. Maybe if I could have put my laps together just a little bit better, I could have gained 1 more position. Overall though, pretty happy with my race car. Again, similar to 81, I feel like we got something to work with, and we're semi-sporty. It's just hard to kind of explain that to you guys. You're thinking, man, we just barely snuck in the feature, but everybody's just so close, and a lot of your whole entire night will go back to qualifying. So if we qualify better, we start farther up front, and instead we're in a situation where we're literally fighting as hard just to have a shot in tonight's main event. But now we got another opportunity, starting deep, not a lot to lose, make changes and work on being better, especially as we add 30 gallons of fuel in this thing. It's going to act much different throughout the whole entire race, and we got to try to be good the whole entire time. So just kind of making our last minute changes before the feature. Midgets are out there right now. Racetrack is still pretty fast. They're only like within half a second to 7/10 off the quick time lap of the night, and I feel like the midgets have probably contributed to that, and then also the sun going down was a big part of that too. Like the track was kind of moving, and then once it got cold, and it's cold here, then the track just retains a lot more moisture, and also there was some grease on the bottom of the track, so as guys started running down there, it threw good dirt across kind of the harder parts of the track, and then again brought that moisture back. I feel like this is when it's difficult for us to know exactly what to do with our car, especially early in the season. You want to keep getting tighter and achieve more grip, but when the track also still has grip, you got to be careful, because you get too tight and then you don't rotate. And us, we're starting I think 18th here in this feature, so deep, so it's going to be a little bit of a slower pace for us as we're in traffic until we really get going. So it's going to be important for us to maintain and try to pick guys off, and our car's got to be right where it needs to be early on, because I think as the race does progress through 35 laps, the lanes are going to probably move up and guys are going to be running much higher, and then the bottom might slow down a tiny bit, and the surface is going to go through some changes. So just difficult as we're trying to figure out exactly what to do, because we like I said, we got to be good from the drop of the green flag, but still at the end of the race be good enough to be moving forward and hopefully picking off cars. So unfortunately, that first lap crash really hindered our race. Not only did we lose a handful of positions, but my car also didn't necessarily handle exactly the same, but still tried to get back out, and track was sticky, and you know, you're in such heavy traffic, I just wasn't able to make anything of it. And before you know it, on a little small track, the leaders are coming around to lap traffic. So once you sense they're close, or you see them go by or whatever, you know, you just want to stay out of their way and not ruin, you know, the race up front. But still hung around and, you know, waited for a yellow or a red just so we could kind of all spread back out again, because I wanted to stay out and continue to just try to make better laps and work with my car, and as the fuel load burns off, because man, we're trying to learn so much about our new package, and even though, you know, it sucks the result and the spot we were in, we still needed to get those laps because those are so valuable. So here's a look at the final surface after 35 laps. The moisture that was at the bottom of the track kind of got spread out throughout the whole entire surface and kept it really dirty throughout the feature. And of course, I still kind of need to watch everything back, but it sounded like a lot of the fast guys were literally just right down here and driving it as hard as they could and could still carry a lot of speed and still run some really fast laps. And by looking at it, I wouldn't necessarily say it was narrow, but you know, it also at the same time wasn't black slick all the way to a cushion. Just a fast surface with a, you know, the cowboy up aspect to it. Guys were biking up here. There's a couple small ruts on the bottom, and yeah, anyway, just a frustrating A feature for us. Really would like to, you know, we're 2 out of 3 races this year. We've ended up in the work area during the night. Actually, I don't know what I'm talking about. All 3 nights we were, you know, for some reason, whether it was our fault or not, headed to the work area. You know, that first lap incident, I kind of had a bad feeling something like that was going to happen. Just everyone got so congested, and I couldn't even see what exactly was going wrong, but I started checking up and, you know, got some front wing damage, front bumper damage, got a flat left front, had to go to the work area, and my car didn't feel the exact same when I got out there, but I still think it was good enough. I just never was able to kind of get going. I kind of started panicking as I wasn't able to pass some cars. I was a little conservative on the start because I was worried about, you know, you're kind of a sitting duck in the back. Once they start crashing, these straightaways, the corners are wide, but the straightaways get narrow. When they start crashing, there's not necessarily a lot of room to avoid. But yeah, that first lap incident is definitely where our race fell apart, and then I unfortunately just wasn't able to recover and didn't really run a great show. And of course, when you're that far in the back, you know, the lead lap cars are coming quick, and so we got lapped, and from there, obviously, you're kind of just trying to stay out of the way. We had a red though and a yellow, and my thing in my head was like, you know what, obviously I'm not going to really gain any positions, but I just like want to go and try to run some serious laps and really try to get a chance to fill out my car and get some open space. And there at the end, I did accomplish that, and that was nice to achieve and have, and just kind of try to figure out the track. Like I said, like you're running some hot laps on your own, but everyone's kind of spread out and doing their thing. But that's part of our sport, and I just got to keep, you know, working on myself as a driver and keep working on our car a little bit. I think, you know, we were okay, but man, we might have, you know, tried to get a little too tight in some spots and hurt ourselves. You know, I was kind of expecting the track to be able to run kind of all the way through, but I think, you know, like I said, a lot more guys were on the bottom, and I needed to be down there sooner. Anyway, though, that's going to wrap up our night. US36 Raceway is a wild little bull ring. I actually love to come back here. I think this place has a lot of potential, and, you know, definitely is racy, kind of gnarly. You know, off of 4, it gets super tight to that front stretch wall, but, you know, like I said, I feel like an exciting racetrack and has, you know, a lot of potential for a 410 wing sprint car. So thanks for watching. Thanks for your guys' support. I promise we'll get there. We're going to keep working. Nothing hurts more than nights like this where where, you know, and these are tough shows. These are really tough World of Outlaws shows. Really, really good cars. So glad we made the show. We just got to keep working on capitalizing and you know, attacking and you know, being a little less conservative and just trying to put ourselves in the right spot at the right time, but also starting farther up front and just getting in that pace and going. So thank you guys. See you in the next one. Deuces.